What's up, y'all? Coach R. Anthony, Relationships and Chill TV. I wanted to do a very quick live video. Um, I didn't do a podcast this week, so I'm doing a little something a little bit better here on Relationships and Chill TV. It's my first time really going live on here, so I wanted to go ahead and just say hello. So anyway, I probably nobody's gonna be on here, but if you're catching it, I want to do this pretty often. You know what I mean? Where I go live and just share a few of my thoughts. And like I think a lot of people are so used to hearing me on the podcast that they're not used to seeing me doing these types of conversations. Just live and just seeing me talk. Um, I've been doing more videos this year, so I mean that's been my thing. Now I want to do something a little different, add a live element to it. So sometimes if I and then you know that I'm just trying to get used to being live and just sharing my thoughts that way. But I will say the podcast has helped me to kind of get my thoughts and clarify them and be able to express them. Whereas, like probably a year or two ago, if you catch my other live on R Anthony, uh, my R Anthony channel, then you will see I was pretty nervous. Didn't really have a lot to talk about, but there's so much to talk about. First, I guess I will start off by saying thank you for checking out Relationships and Chill TV. Definitely subscribe to our channel. We're gonna have I like to drop a lot of great content, a lot of great positive content as it relates to relationships, self-improvement, all that kind of stuff. So if you like what you're hearing, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Check us out on relationshipsandchill.com. Check out the Relationships and Chill podcast. That's gonna bless your life. We got a lot of content on the Relationships and Chill podcast. So there's a lot of great content if you were not aware of you are now. Hopefully you guys can hear me pretty good. I'm not sure. Let me see. Make sure all my stuff is together. Usually I do all this stuff before because this, like I said, this is my first time on my podcast. Everything is A1 and A plus. So check that out if you want some more amazing content. But today, I guess I want to talk to you guys. There's so much stuff to talk about, so much stuff floating around in the news. Now, I'm not typically the one you want to come to for news about other people. I'm not a news gossip drama type of person. My wife and I, we keep our information, we keep our relationship very self-contained, very contained within the desires and the hopes that we have and where we're working towards as a couple. So we don't really focus on a lot of other people's issues. And me as a man, as and her as a woman, as individuals, we try to focus on creating the best versions of ourselves. Now we know, and that whatever you bring into your internal, let's say food, is going to affect how you operate as a human in this body over the course of our lives. If we continue to damage our bodies and damage our systems, then we our body begins to slow down and starts to decay and starts to die off. So with that same ideology, what I like to do is focus on things that are positive and things that bring life. So same thing with food. You focus on healthy things that prolong your life as opposed to stifle and damage your life. You'll have a longer, better, healthier life as opposed to someone who's constantly ingesting things that are contrary to good health. So it's the same thing with information. So information is the same. Whatever information you bring into your internal being, your internal spiritual being, is going to affect your external experience. Is going to affect the way that you look and view information that comes into your life. And so a lot of people have this system or this cycle that they like to consume information and consuming information. Now, this is straight live. This is straight me talking off the top of my head. But people like to consume information based on the set parameters that they've been consuming information. That's why it's so important not to focus on so much stuff, so much drama and crap that people have going on in their lives and how the media sensationalizes it and makes it like this is how things are. And with that type of mentality, believing that this is the way that things are, then the natural next step is that this is how my life has to operate in order for me to have this glamorous life that everybody wants to talk about. It gets attention, it gets people's um, focus and all that kind of stuff. Me personally, I'm not like that. So that's I think that kind of contributes to why I don't have a lot of following, but the people that I talk to, that I know, they live by the information that I have, unless they just don't want to progress in their life, which is cool and fine with me. But that's all fine and dandy. But I personally, I don't really see. I mean, I know there's some value in that, but it also depends on your predisposition to information. If your predisposition is a negative, then you're going to receive and perceive information or people's lives or people's experiences as negative. And if it's more of on a positive learning perspective, then your desire will be to learn more about what people are experiencing and how you can possibly contribute to somebody who has an experience similar, how you can contribute to your own life, and how you can progress it and avoid a lot of the pitfalls, which I know a lot of people say that they do. A lot of people, a rational person will say, well, that's what I do. I do that. But the reality of it is, if you look at your experiences, and then if your experiences are more coincided and more aligned to the negative experiences that you say you don't want to have, then your disposition is negative, and you're constantly eating and digesting that type of information, then your life will continue to be negative. So I had a little glitch in my thing. But so, I think it's very important not to get focused on so much as to what other people are doing and neglect what you're not doing or what you're supposed to do, that you end up basically having the same experiences, or you end up being mute in your own experiences or stuck in your own experiences, and you're looking at them and living vicariously through them, and saying, at least I ain't got them kind of problems. You know what I'm saying? I got problems, but I ain't at least got them kind of problems, which makes you not want to progress, because it's like, well, I'm doing all right. I'm doing good because my life and my experiences are not that bad. But that's why it's important to be able to think for yourself and to be able to distinguish and to separate yourself from the experiences of others, which I like to take time away and not focus on what other people have going on, which is kind of what I always do and what I've always done. Now, I will say, like, for my podcast, a lot of the information I feel is very general information. But what I've noticed just in society, information that's general to me or general to somebody else who's thriving in whatever they desire is not typical for everybody else. So, what you're saying and what you're doing will go over a lot of people's heads. They won't really gather it, they won't really understand it. But for me, until you get to a place where you're experiencing the type of relationship that you desire. Like for me, I'm experiencing the type of relationship that I desired, and I know that works for the duration of my life. Then you're probably not gonna understand until you get that. And that's the reality of it. You're not gonna understand the stuff that I'm saying unless you're experiencing what I'm talking about experiencing. And that's pretty much across the board. But I think because people gravitate more towards negative information, that more people can connect with that. So on a human level, the experience of knowing negative information about people helps you to connect with other people and make you feel accepted because you are in the know, and your experiences in your life, personal life, are not as bad as that person that's being demonized by the public. So by you not being demonized in the public makes you feel as though you are better off, and you're connecting with people who feel they are better off, but it's all the foundation of it is negative information. So you're basing your life on the negativity that people are experiencing. And you know what happens? You have to keep feeding that monster. You have to keep being fed by that monster in order to keep feeling good about yourself, because you're saying, well, that person's dumb for staying in this situation. That person's, this, and that person's that, and that person's that, that person's this. And you're like, well, I ain't doing those things. But in reality, and this is what I go through with coaching all the time. People love to look at other people's experiences and say, I'm doing better. But when I start breaking their crap down, then they are in the same boat that those same people that they're talking about is in. They're doing the same exact thing. They're having the same exact experiences, but it's just their version of it. So you can't really see the small subtleties and the small similarities that's related to yours and related to a Khloe Kardashian or Jesse Smollett or R. Kelly or whoever you want to choose that's in the news. And you begin to see that just because your experiences aren't extreme as theirs, that it's not the same. It's the same crap. It's just yours is on a smaller microcosm and theirs is on a larger, wide scale where people are able to point the finger and say, well, at least my year and my life has been horrible, but at least I'm not going through that. And so for me, creating relationships and chill, creating positive information is kind of the anti that. So it kinda isolates you to to functional relationships and to a functional reality, which is kind of, it's kinda isolating, in one way or another because I don't really I don't really care to know about a lot of people's, um, downfalls, that to me I don't like that. I've never been one of those persons since I was a kid. I've never been the type of person that will relish in a person's downfall or getting in trouble and all that kind of stuff. I always try to find a way to like, man, how could I help the situation? How could I how could I not how can I help somebody else that's possibly in that situation? And how can I avoid myself being in that situation? Now, some people will say that's playing it safe, and some people will say that, hey, that's you know, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But the reality of it is there is longevity in a certain amount of safety. You know what I mean? Like in order to live a long life, you have to have a certain degree of safety. So I think there's safety in what's good. And it protects you, even though people will look at you as being holier than thou and all that kind of crap. And I'm not saying I don't do nothing wrong, but the difference is I let people know I do my wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like I let people know, like I ain't gonna sugarcoat it. I'm this. And if you don't like it, then oh well. But that's the thing. That's the freedom. And I believe in order to really have to experience true love and true happiness, true success, true whatever you're looking for, you have to be like that. You have to live in your reality and you have to live the truth of your reality. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people will live in denial of their truth and still point fingers at other people's truth. So the truth that comes out about other people is what people are shunning because they're hiding their truth. They're hiding the reality of the things that they're doing behind closed doors, behind the scenes, and all that kind of stuff. But the reality of it is you're in the same boat. You're in the same boat as those people. But that's what I'm saying, like positivity, good, truth, and all that kind of stuff is a lifestyle. It's a whole different lifestyle that you have to begin to desire in order to, regardless if you get fame or if you regardless if you get well known or whatever the case may be, that can't matter to you. Because for me, I get caught up in that too. Like I be like, man, I want this thing to blow up. I like it hasn't even been a year that I've been doing relationships and chill. And I'm already thinking like I should be known. I should have hundreds of thousands of views. I should have XYZ, a lot of money. A lot of people know who I am. Being on the Breakfast Club or whatever, I should be on those things. But the reality of it is, I can't really care about that because ultimately, like it has nothing to do with them. It has everything to do with me and my ability to express my experiences. You know what I mean? And share those experiences with people that allow them to get out of their possibly bad relationships. You know what I mean? And experience the fullness of their relationships, but you can't do that being trapped in the negative cycle. There's no way you can do that. You can't experience that true freedom and that true expression and that desire, those desires that you have. You cannot experience those things being trapped in a negative cycle of receiving negative information and want something positive to happen. That's like the definition of insanity is doing the same things over and over again, but expecting a different result. Well, this is the definition of I guess poverty or bad relationships or whatever. Like this is the definition. Expecting a positive relationship when you're always constantly being drawn to negative information. That's really the definition. Like we desire things to be a certain way, but we're not willing to, you know, become the person who naturally attracts and draws those things to us. And that's just the reality of it. So, that's why I continue to do what I'm doing. I created Relationships and Chill. I created all these different outlets, the relationshipsandchill.com, the husband material guide, which I'm gonna do another video on because I created a guide for women, right? And and it's funny because women I'll probably do say that for another video because women don't believe that they have a problem in relationships. Like 99.3% of women don't believe that they're the problems or that they are could possibly be the reason why they keep drawing these type of relationships. So I created a guide for women to help them to be able to understand why you keep attracting the same types of guys over and over again and what to do to avoid that. You know what I'm saying? Like what can you do to avoid the type of man that you've been attracting? Okay, so I had I gave it away for free, like for the first like when I was starting out writing it, I gave it away for free. Right. And I told the women, I said, hey, if you want me to give you this, at first it started off as a checklist. It was just a checklist with like um just information about different things, different traits to look for in a man, right? So I told the women, I said, "Hey, listen, I'm creating this checklist. If you want it for free, let me know. And when it's done, I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you for free of charge, no problem." So it took me probably about 3, 4, 5, 6 months, somewhere around there, because as I started the process, I was like, "What good is a checklist gonna do?" Because it's just a list of traits. So I decided to make it into a guide to where it walks you through each phase of how you meet someone, what to do, what to look for, how to analyze information, how to analyze what he's doing, what he's saying, all that kind of stuff. And women, the women that did get it, I said, "Hey, listen, I'm finished with it. It's been XYZ. I apologize for the delay, but I wanted to give you something way more important than just a checklist. Because checklist, I mean, you can go get a checklist for what to look for in a guy from anywhere, any old website. But but I wanted to give you something more, much more. So I gave it to him for free still. I gave it to him for free. And I said, "Hey, listen, when you read it, just let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you gather from it, or give me your thoughts about it." And when I tell you I released it on February the 14th. And to this day, I have yet to hear anything about it from those particular women. Now I have to start. I'm about to go. I'm about to start promoting it a lot more and giving a little bit more information on it. But as it stands right now, I just really been promoting it on Instagram because it's the people that follow me on a regular basis. So you can follow me on Relationships and Chill. That's AND Chill on Instagram also. But I find it very interesting that women now I'm gonna say this because as a woman, now if you're a woman listening to this, you're a single woman and you're dating and you're looking for a man, you definitely need the guide. But I think if you are holding up to chance uh a man just dropping out of the sky and you just saying, hey, I feel like this, I feel like he's the right one, I feel like this, I feel like that, and you're constantly being disappointed by your choices, then it's not going to change until you start changing how you view information. It's going to remain the same. So you can have all the hopes and wishes and prayers, you can pray to whoever you want to pray to, it ain't gonna happen. There's a small percentage, of course, like 1-2% that it does happen for, but it ends up being like the lottery mentality. You get a good relationship, but you sabotage it anyway because you haven't progressed past your own insecurities and your own things that you have going on internally that are causing you to repel the things that keep you in a great relationship. So I wrote that guide for that. I wrote the guide for that. So if you are interested, you can go to Relationships and Chill. The guide is 14.99. And I'm working on the audio book, the audio version of it. Working on a course for it and all that kind of stuff. For the guys, I'm having a very similar thing for you. I think men are more receptive to that kind of information because we ultimately don't want to end up like other guys we know, and everything in our reality changes because of we chose the wrong woman. So I think men don't leave it up. Some Most men do, but majority of men don't just leave it up to chance. Like we would rather have some information about, and that's why we talk a lot about women and how they are. But we also, it's really really weird because women will talk, and I'm gonna say this and I'll be in it because this is like 20 minutes. But it's really weird because women will talk to other women and they want to talk to me about relationships and about men and all that kind of stuff. When I say, hey, purchase this guide because it's going to show you everything, they don't do it. But men, you try to talk to men about women and whoop de woo, and about what they should do, they won't listen to you, but they'll purchase something that kind of explains a lot more in detail. They'll at least do that. So I find it very interesting. But the funniest part of it all is that men really don't complain a lot about women. Not as it relates to the relationship itself. We complain about women being difficult and all that kind of stuff, but we don't complain about the relationship we're in with a particular woman at this moment. We don't really complain about that. Women will complain to the T and will complain to the day they die. Until you get some information. Like the women I know, the women I coach, the women I work with, they don't really they can complain, but once you start breaking down what they're complaining about, they don't really have a complaint. It's not really an issue, it's just a perceived issue. It's just a perceived ideology that they have as women, that just because I have a vagina, I am here. You have to do what I say because the vagina trumps the penis. But in reality, like, if that's the case, then why are you complaining? For one thing, why are you complaining if what you have is so superior that it trumps everything? Why aren't men just flopping to be with you for the rest of their lives? It doesn't work like that. So you gotta get a reality check as a woman, for real. You gotta be realistic about it. Like, there's so many women out in this world. It's easier to replace a woman than for a woman to replace a good man. It's easier to replace a good woman than it is to replace a good man. And that's just the reality of it. So it's best to learn what to look for in a good man, because there not a lot out there. There's not a lot out there perceived wise. There's a lot of good men out there, obviously, and I know, but it's just how you position yourself as a woman in that man's life. How do you position yourself? How do you get to where you become the woman, not just the vagina, but the woman that is in a position to where he desires to be with you. He desires to continuously progress in a relationship with you. When most women don't know how to do that, all they know how to do is complain their way into what they want. And eventually men get tired of that and they leave or find another woman on the side. So that's been my little rant for today, my random thoughts for today. You guys subscribe to here because I'm trying to do this pretty often. Check out the Relationships and Chill podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, iHeartRadio. I mean, it's all over the place. Also, like I said, subscribe here, YouTube, Relationships and Chill, A&D Chill on Instagram, Relationships and Chill on Facebook. Relationshipsandchill.com is where you can get a lot of information on the blogs and all that kind of stuff. But what we like to do, we like to teach people how to have great relationships. My wife and I, coach Christina Lynn, coach Coach Christina Lynn and Coach Candace. We talk about a lot of issues that relates to relationships. But what I do is I coach. I coach you into the best relationship that you can possibly. I coach you into being the best candidate, the best person that you can be for a relationship, and I coach your relationship into having the best relationship that you can possibly have. So if you're interested in coaching, make sure you hit me up on relationshipsandchill.com, and we can set up something and where I can send you. Just hit me up, because I will guaranteed flip your relationship to where you won't even there will be very little to complain about. So anyway, this has been Coach R. Anthony, Relationships and Chill TV, and I'll catch you guys on the next live. You guys take it easy. Peace.